Welcome. My name is Sheletta Brundidge. Most folks know me as Minnesota's Autism Mom, and I am partnering with my friends at South Washington County Telecommunications Commission for Autism Awareness Month to bring you a 4-part series. Now, I have to tell you, we had a back and forth about whether to call it Autism Awareness Month or Autism Acceptance Month. We've heard from so many people on both sides, but one thing's for sure. It's not about what you call it. It's about how you treat our children. And if you have not seen the rest of this series, I suggest you go to their website and look at it and share it with your friends, because what we are trying to do today is create awareness, acceptance, and educate families who have children with autism, in addition to the broader community as a whole. You know, I have 3 autism children's books. Cameron Goes to School, about my daughter Cameron, who went to school for the very first time being a little Black nonverbal girl on the spectrum. Brandon Spots His Sign is all about learning new ways to encourage children who have autism. And Daniel Finds His Voice is all about my son Daniel learning how to talk through music. Now, I had not planned to write books about my children's autism journeys. In fact, I had not planned to do anything except cry when I found out that my kids, not 1, not 2, but 3 of them, were on the spectrum. But I looked around and I saw that there were so many books out there to educate parents about kids who have special needs, but nobody was educating children about their classmates who were just a little bit different. My daughter came home one day and she said, "Mom, nobody's inviting me to the play dates. Nobody's inviting me to sleepovers. My friend had a party and everybody in class went except me." And I thought, you know what? That is not right. I'm going to go down to that school and I'm going to talk to that other parent when I see her in Carlisle. And I'm going to ask her, why didn't she invite my baby to her daughter's birthday party? We would have come. And the mom explained to me that her daughter thought that my daughter didn't like her because every time she tried to engage her in conversation, she wouldn't respond. And that's when I realized somebody had to educate my daughter's classmates, because it's not that my daughter didn't respond, it's that she couldn't. She had social anxiety because of her autism. And I know a lot of you families who have kiddos on the spectrum can understand that. And so I went about writing these books and giving them away to schools and church groups and the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts so that they could educate my children's peers, your children's peers, about autism, what it is, and how they can help them. And let me tell you something. We spent hundreds of hours in therapy, thousands of dollars on therapy, and nothing helped my child like having a good friend. When the teacher read her book and the kids in that classroom understood her story, they began to rally around her to help her. They became her just entourage. You know, if there was a sub, they explained that she had to have a routine. If she went to a different classroom or there was a field trip, they made sure that she was taken care of. And when my daughter realized that she had that support, she began to talk. She began to make friends. She began to progress in her learning. She started wanting to be in plays. She signed up for a choir. And would you believe this? Her most recent autism evaluation, when Cameron Brundidge went in, the same Cameron Brundidge who doctors told her when she went for her first autism evaluation had no functional language. She was 4 years old at the time. They put her in a class with children who were deaf because she would not talk. They began teaching her sign language and told me that she would likely never say a word. That Cameron Brundidge, who is 9 years old now, has tested off the spectrum. She is at or above her grade level in every area. She just starred in her first play. This is a little girl who would cry if you looked at her. So I constantly tell my children's story because I want parents out there who are discouraged, who are tired, who are frustrated, who are ready to give up. Don't lose hope. Things can and will get better. You know, I thought I got one kid with autism. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be fine. We can do this. I'm going to get good therapy. We're going to get good schools. We're going to work with him. And then I got the diagnosis for the second child. I said, okay, you know, this is 2 out of 4. I can work on this. This is going to be okay. We're going to follow the same script that we follow for Brandon and find success with Cameron. I'm going to pray everything's going to work out. And then we got an autism diagnosis for Daniel. And I gave up. I stopped eating. You can't look at me and tell now, but I was 98 pounds. People were calling me sir when they walked behind me because I was so thin they thought I was a young man. The only thing going into my body was coffee and Grey Duck vodka because I thought I'm just going to drink myself to death. I was literally under the table, severely depressed, wondering why God would punish me and give me 3 kids with autism. How could I ever overcome this? How could I work through this? And then I heard God say, I'm not punishing you. I'm giving you a position. The position is mother. Now get your kids right, and then you go out there and help somebody else. And that's why I'm here today, working with my friends to help you find the resources you need, get the encouragement you need, find the information that's going to help your child get to their next level of greatness. Things can and will get better. And I know that it's hard. I know that it is very difficult because it's like getting the keys to an 18-wheeler. And somebody saying there's $1 million in this truck. You just drive it home and you can have all the money. You get that diagnosis for your child from that developmental pediatrician at the University of Minnesota, and they send you home with some papers. And then you think, what now? What next? And how do we even get it done? How do we find success? How do we find the blueprint? I'm giving it to you today. I'm giving it to you in this series with my friends at SWCTC. You can go to their website at swctc.org/autism. And we've got so many resources there available. And this 4-part series is there for you to find information, for you to find encouragement, for you to find resources, for you to find the connections that you need to help your child. And you know, resources is a big topic of conversation because when you have a child with special needs, it is difficult, very difficult to work full time because you have to be called out for school visits. You have to do the IEP meetings. You have to go get the autism evaluations. They have private therapy. And when they have sensory-friendly events, you got to be there. And so I just want families to know about the Paid Parent Program. I also want you to know there are scholarships and grants available that would pay for a lot of things that the insurance won't cover. Did you know that United Healthcare has a foundation and all they do is pay for things that the insurance won't cover? You can go to their website and apply. Tell them what your situation is. Tell them what you need, why you need it, and it'll be covered. There's so many resources available, and they are at swctc.org/autism. Foundations, organizations, nonprofits. Did you know that the Lions Club put a fence at my house because my child wandered? Those are the type of organizations that are right here in our community in South Washington County that will help our children. I've got combination locks on the doors because my son Daniel would open the window in the backyard and go out and jump on the trampoline. One day I was this close to calling 911 because he was missing. I thought he was in the house somewhere. And y'all know how it is. You can't play hide and seek with a kid who's got autism because they'll forget they're playing hide and seek and they'll just keep hiding for hours. And I knew I couldn't call his name because he wasn't going to respond. He was nonverbal at the time. And for hours, I looked through the house for him and couldn't find him. I picked up the phone to call 911. I looked out the window. He was jumping on a trampoline. No socks, no shoes, pajamas and a t-shirt. It was 2 degrees outside. Who knows how long he'd been out there. When he got in, he was blue. He was blue. I can't imagine what would have happened if he'd have been out there for a couple more hours. So I called some organizations and they provided the funding I needed to get him some combination locks on the doors, a new garage, so many things that we have in our home that we did not have to pay for are available to you. Scholarships, grants, all you have to do is apply. And I have a list of those at swctc.org/autism. It's April now, right? And you know, June, July, and August, we have to keep our kids busy. We have to give them things to do. We have to make sure they have a schedule and a routine so that they don't regress in the progress that they've made all year long, right? But those summer camps can get very expensive, especially when we start talking about the ones that cater to our kids who have special needs. They can be upwards of $1,000. But they can go horseback riding and swimming every day. They can go camping. They can go out in the woods. They can do so many amazing things. If you've got autistic kids, they can do art. They've got music camps. They've got something at the zoo. They've got camps all over the Twin Cities that are catered to our special needs kids. But for a lot of us, it's out of our price range. What I'm telling you is this. If you go to swctc.org/autism, I've provided a link to some scholarships and grants that you can apply for today. They are open and available to you that will cover the entire cost of those camps. Our children don't have to wait to get what they need, to come back after a summer and get into the classroom and tell their friends what they did. You know, so oftentimes they spend summers and Christmas break in the house with us. We're safe. Because the cost of going to those camps is just too expensive. Just like they've got scholarships and grants to pay for camps, they also have those same scholarships and grants to provide the resources that you need in your home. If you need a desk, funding is available. If you need a locker, funding is available. Weighted blankets, money is there. I don't want you to think that your child has to ever do without because you can't afford it. There are so many generous Minnesotan people out there, Minnesota's organizations, nonprofits, companies whose presidents have grandchildren with autism. And they want to give this money away to families like ours. And, you know, I remember a couple of years ago, I applied for a scholarship for a camp for my son, Brandon. This camp was $1,700 a week, but each child had a PCA. And they did so many amazing things every day. And I saw the growth in my child. And at the end of the camp, the director said, Sheletta, do you know any more families who could use these funds? Because we've got 5 scholarships and you're the only one who applied for it. So we got 4 scholarships left that nobody's used and the summer is almost up. And I said, you know what? It's not that the families don't want the money, don't need the money. They don't know about it. So for a list of those resources, go to swctc.org/autism. I've got those summer camp scholarships available. I've got those grant information available where you can get fences and combination lock on the doors. They will pay for things you need for your family, including therapies that the insurance won't cover. Thank you so much for being part of this program today. Make sure you share it on your social media timeline with your friends. Make sure you provide it to other families who have children with special needs like ours. Everything I have ever learned to help my children who have autism, I learned from another mother. So as a mom, I'm providing and passing that information on to you. To see more on this series and for additional information about autism, go to swctc.org/autism. Thank you for joining us.